Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Yum diddy dum diddy do do do. Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Ya da 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 do. Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Yum diddy dum diddy do do do. Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Ya da 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 do. Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Yum diddy dum diddy do do do. Yum diddy dum diddy da da. Ya da 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 do. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Welcome to our services here at Temple Sinai. I'm Rabbi Benjamin Zober, and I am so glad to see all of you here for this lovely evening and all sorts of celebrations that we've got going on. And welcome, of course, to everyone out there in internet land. Wherever you may be, we're glad to have you with us here. As is our tradition here, we are praying out of Mishkan Tefillah, a Reform Siddur. If you are online and would like something to look at while we do our service, you can download a copy of our virtual Siddur at sinaireno.org/live. It will have all of the readings and everything that you need to follow along this evening. So we will begin together with a reading that can be found in the middle of page 6. We will read responsively. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, thank you, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. It is my honor to invite Jane Townley up at this time to light our Shabbat candles. If you would like to follow along, you can find the blessing on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, all the candles tonight.
Well, no risk, the candles will stay lit.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you.
Try not to set anything else on fire.
Well, let's continue with the excitement with some songs to welcome Shabbat. We'll begin on page 10 with Hine Matov Umanayim. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achot Gam Yachad. Hine shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achot gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yararai, yarararararai. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yararai, yarai, rai, 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 rai. And we'll continue with the very next song, Ma Yafeh Hayom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And our next song is Lechuna Ranana, which can be found on page 12. Lechuna ranana, lechuna ranana, lechuna ranana ladonai. Lechuna ranana, lechuna ranana, lechuna ranana ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nikad mavran avtodah. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana ladonai. Lechune ranana, lechune ranana, lechune ranana ladonai. And we turn all the way to page 20 for Lechadodi, as we will be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the 9th and final verse, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to turn towards the entrance of whatever space you find yourself in this evening as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shemu tiferet v'letehila. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki hi mekor habrecha, mirosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala yadadai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, Kiva orech kumiori. Uri, shir daberi. Kvod Adonai, alaik nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yadadai, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yadadai, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boim shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzola. Tochemunei am segula, boi kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yadadai, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, yadadai, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We turn now to page 26 and continue together with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkaral v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, B'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyom echon, Uv'chayedek ho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Uvizman kariv, Vimeru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach, Le'olam u'amei hamaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, V'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yithadar v'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shmei d'Kudisha berichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'meru, Amen. We turn to page 28, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach Le'olam va'ed. We read together in the English, in the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Ahavat olam can be found on the very next page. Ahavat olam, bet Yisrael, amcha ahavta, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shogvenu, Humenu nasiach b'chotecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nage yomam v'layla, v'yahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema begins on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad, Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed. You may be seated. We continue with the V'ahavta on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam livanecha v'dibarta pam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'shachbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoteti etchem mi'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We read responsively the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha is on the next page. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, pokei ayam lifnei Moshe, zelianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. V'nemar kifar Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo me'at chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We read together in the middle of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Vishamru can be found on the very next page. I wonder if there's anyone who wants to come up and help me dance. Nobody, okay. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, od hi leolam, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam. All right. With that, we turn to page 46, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chaste Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mori atah, Mechakel chayim b'chesed, Mechaye hakol be'rachamim rabim. Somek noflim berofeh cholim umatir asurim umkayem emunato vishenei ahar michamocha al givurot umidom elah Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emanata l'hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue silently to page 62. Please be seated when you are finished or when you feel ready. Oseh Shalom can be found on page 62. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Vimru Amen. Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael amen. We turn at this time to Seder Kriyat HaTorah. We begin with reading at the top of page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. This time, I would love to invite up to open our ark. I was hoping, is Ami somewhere in the building? He really wanted, please do. He really wanted to see the Torahs. So, and to carry our Torah tonight, John Luis, would you do us the honor? All right, you can make your way up slowly because we're waiting for Ami. Usually, so the tradition is usually that when you are called to Torah, you come up as quickly as possible. But we're playing out for timers, so it's a little bit we're vamping here a little bit. And then when you're done, if you're reading the Torah, all that, you're supposed to sort of take your time getting back because you don't want to retreat from Torah. So maybe we're flipping that here, but
fine.
There's no sign.
There's a sign.
There's no sign.
There's no sign. Oh.
No.
all right. Well,
You'll have to see it another
I guess so. He was so keen on it. Morgan, would you like to open our ark for us? We turn to page 246, and I invite you, if you are able, to please rise. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai merushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlul Adonai iti Uneromama Shemo Yachtav Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha Yamid na'aseh lekol rosh Al shlosha divarim Al shlosha divarim Al shlosha divarim Ha'olam omed Al haTorah Ve'al havodah Ve'al gimilut chasadim Al haTorah Ve'al havodah Ve'al gimilut chasadim Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You take the cover. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'll take that. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You may be seated. Thank you both. Well, we have quite an honor for all of you this evening. We are inviting Ken and Marilyn Roberts up to Torah on the occasion of their 50th anniversary. Ya'amdu Miriam Shlomit bat Felek v'Golda v'Yaakov ben Avraham v'Sarah li'aliyah HaTorah. That looks familiar.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Elam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Just kidding, that actually wasn't. Amen. V'daber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon, ve'amarta elav, v'ha'arotcha et hanerot, et mul panei hamenorah, vayiru shivat hanerot, vayas ken Aharon, el mul panei hamenorah, ha'elah Neroteha Keasher Tziva Adonai et Moshe V'zeh Me'aseh HaMenorah Miksha Zahav At Yircha Ad Pircha Miksha Hi Kamara Asher Hara Adonai et Moshe Kenasa et HaMenorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. Well, have we a blessing for you? Mishaberak avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the ones who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless the both of you as you have come up to Torah in honor of God and Torah. May you merit from the Holy One of blessing protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in your every endeavor, together with all Israel, and let us say, Amen. And we also bless you with many more years of happiness and joy together, to be added to the 50 years of marriage that you are celebrating tonight. Mazal Tov. You get applause.
Who's lifting? Because I
Uh,
thought we might stay until you.
If you'd like, yeah, okay. I believe Michael Cohen will be our.
Because we're not supposed to leave.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to stay up here. All right. We, with our Torah in our midst, though, we will be thinking of those in our community who need a bit of healing, whether of body or mind or of spirit. At this time in our congregation, we think of Kevin Ashton, Aviva Bat Yosefa B'Machael, Kathy Bartlett, Tracy Bartlett, Batya Tali, Gary Cecil, Laura Cohen, Rabbi Matt Cohen, Oritsur Cohen, Mark Kamensky, Megan Carney Cranmer, Nancy Dawes, Ted Dawes, Stephen Gould, Marlene Harris, Pam Hendricks, Harvey Higdon, Joe Kamen, Ron Kamen, Ellis Kruger, Letitia Kruger, John Lutzker, Jason Matthews, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Batsara, Vivian Morgan, Tim Ober, Claire Petersky, Carol Pevney, Judy Ramos, Sarah Bat Chava, Harav Sarah Bat Yisrael V'Shoshana, Shana Bracha Bat Esther Malka, Chris Stanton, Teresa Sussman, Ken Wasser, Bobby Wells, Asher Zelech. And we send prayers of healing into the Middle East, to Israel and into Palestine and in all the areas where there is strife and there is hurt and there is pain. We send healing and support and love to those in the military serving their countries, to everyone affected by the coronavirus and long COVID, and also to the Jewish and other communities of Ukraine. If there are other names that you wish to add, I encourage you to do so online. You can put their name in the comments, and if you are present, I invite you to do so when my eyes meet yours.
The Adler family and Thomas Roth.
Crystal's friend Ed and Burton Kaminsky.
Myra Clark.
Jeffrey Edwin.
Kirk Juster.
We offer our song of healing to all of those we are thinking of. Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach. It can be found on page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBrecha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBrecha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let's see. At this time, well, I thought I was going to call up Michael Cohen to lift our Torah. Oh, there he is. He's back. That's all right. It happens. It happens. Affairs of state must take precedence over affairs of state. And Eliana, would you be so kind as to come help us dress the Torah? We all rise. Page 252. Vazot HaTorah Sheran Moshe Livnei B'nei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'yad Moshe. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. We read responsively, page 257. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization, honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties, but the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all. Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. Page 256. Eitz chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tomcheha meushar teracheha Noam v'chol nativotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Thank you both. Thank you all. You may be seated. George Bernard Shaw was not a fan of baseball. It was a game he derided for its slowness and stupidity. But he did like that fans could heckle during the game. And there is a long history of heckling in sports, particularly in baseball. Some ball players have responded to these sorts of jeers by letting their bats do the talking, hitting a home run to shut up a loudmouth critic, or ignominiously striking out and encouraging their tormentors further. Others take a more direct approach. One pitcher tossed a ball to the loud fan, having signed it, "Thank you for paying my salary." Another just tossed an extra baseball to a fan, and the cheap souvenir won his loyalty. And then there was Albert Bell, who threw a ball directly into one mouthy man's chest. There is no telling what will set people off or win them over, although in the case of Albert Bell, his method did not work. We encounter some complaining this week in the Torah. The riffraff in their midst felt a gluttonous craving. And then the Israelites wept and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish that we used to eat free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Now our gullets are shriveled. There is nothing at all, nothing but this manna to look to." So, what was it that set us off this time? Was it the lack of variety? Every day the same thing, manna. To be fair, each of us has met someone who ate the same thing every day in their life, a tuna fish sandwich at every lunch from kindergarten through high school, or maybe it was peanut butter and jelly, or we could think again to baseball, and the great Wade Boggs allegedly ate chicken before every single one of his 2,432 games, and that was just in the major leagues. Did we get sick of manna for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, every meal? Well, of course, we didn't have just manna. We had livestock. We could have eaten plants or animals or things that we found from the wilderness, but somehow we still got bored as it felt stale. Maybe it wasn't just the lack of a varied diet that had us upset. Maybe there were other things at play. Maybe it was about the effort that went into getting our food. I know a certain young man who will eat exactly 2 tacos, 2 tiny crumbly ones made with gluten-free corn tortillas, or 2 giant ones with luxurious flour tortillas. Wildly different amounts of food, but the same amount of work. Indeed, the people lament the effort that goes into their meals. Again, we remember the fish that we used to eat for free. But was it really free? Was the food that much better in Egypt? Could we be so nostalgic for a cheap bite to eat that we are actually suggesting going back to a life of servitude as long as it becomes with an all-you-can-eat buffet? Scholar Nechama Leibovich explained, we are confronted by yearnings and nostalgia for a humdrum, small-time existence, a life of serfdom subject to their habits, passions, and desires. It could not have been that good. The sages remind us that if we were forced to provide our own straw for the construction projects, how likely was it that they gave us free food? Nor is anything in servitude actually free. It comes at a cost. There is no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it is paid for with forced labor. Nor are skills acquired unwillingly or by necessity during times of enslavement benefits or bonuses. In the Midrash, we hear that while we had to supply our own materials, the reason that the fish was free was because Pharaoh wanted to get the most out of our labor. Fish were plentiful. Some said that when the Nile flooded, as it started to recede, there were fish everywhere, just ready to be scooped up and eaten. Maybe the fish that we ate were the tiny fish that were of no use to the commercial fishermen, so they might as well just give it to the Israelite slaves. Or perhaps it's none of these things. Maybe it was not about cucumbers and fish, but about nostalgia, but about the effort that freedom takes. Manna tasted, we are told, like sweet cream, or possibly it took on the taste of whatever we imagined we were eating. So it is not so much about the taste of what we had, but the work that goes into it. Again, Nechama Leibovich teaches, not food or drink, fish or cucumbers, whether given away or cheap, fresh or stale, really concerned them, but that freedom from the irksome demands of civilization and standards of self-discipline, which they had enjoyed in Egypt. When they ate free, it meant they were free from so many other things, in particular, the mitzvot, free from the commandments and responsibilities of Torah that they were beginning to receive. As much as the rabbis think that it was about the yoke of the commandments, I think maybe it was about something even more relatable, responsibility for our own lives. We were on our way to the promised land, a land that by all accounts would be flowing with milk and honey. But along with that would be the responsibility of governing and managing. Maybe this was about having to work for things, the fear of hard work and challenge, fear of owning our own land and living up to our standards and our expectations. It is easy to imagine how to live, especially when you do not have to implement your own plans. For thousands of years,
We were persecuted, enslaved, controlled, otherwise not free to make our own decisions or control our destiny. And our texts reflect the reaction that we had to our plight. We imagined and demanded that all rulers be benevolent. We argued for consideration of the weakest and the most vulnerable in society. It was our way of saying, if I were in charge, I would do it differently. Of course, we did not have to take that position. We could have spent centuries dreaming up revenge, planning retribution for those who persecuted us. But that was not what the Torah wanted from us. And the thought of living with what the Torah wanted was in many ways terrifying. What does God require of us? Asked the prophet Micah. To do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. That is much harder than being cruel, vindictive, and proud. So perhaps we hesitated. Maybe we thought about that tremendous burden and the responsibility, and our thoughts went back to a time when our obligations were much less onerous. We panicked at the thought of having so much, and we reacted poorly and lashed out. To be fair, we are not the only people who have set goals and found it difficult or even fallen short. At the foundation of the United States, we embarked on a remarkable journey to create a government by, for, and of the people. It aspired to big, universal values, freedoms, and rights, and we are still a work in progress. To read a Declaration of Independence is to read a nation's ideals. To read history is to see how they did. Indeed, in our own history, when Kings David and Ahab abused their power, they were called to account. The Israelites, though, were not there yet. They were hesitating at the prospect of such awesome responsibility. Now, we do know that they eventually made it, and we know that it was also not to last. But with that and all of history, all of our setbacks, we have not lost our commitment to those values. We still believe what we were taught at Sinai's foot. We are still committed to wielding our power with mercy and justice. We still have concern for the weakest and most vulnerable in our society. And living out those values is still not easy. The tendency to let power corrupt is ever strong, but it is a power that we can resist. It might mean that we have to be better, at least morally speaking, than others. Author Ruth Wise notes that the Hebrew prophets linked a nation's potency to its moral strength, putting the Jews on perpetual trial for their political actions before a supreme judge. We may see things differently now, and if we are not subject to the supreme judge, we must still be subject to our own judgment. And that means that it is up to us to live up to our values. Shabbat Shalom. At this time, it is my honor to invite up Alyssa and Howard to open our ark. We turn to page 282 for Aleinu. And if you are able, I invite you to please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, Shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, ve'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, livnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz hayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad. Thank you both. You may be seated. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But it soon fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We think now of our loved ones whose presence in our community is only through memory. At this time, we remember Jerry Zober, Tatiana Marie Granoff, Millie Ralston, Carol Ann Garris, Esther Bat Evron, Scott Johnson, Eric Hobson, Daniel B. Stage, Sir Berkhammer, Eric Rosenberg, Jeffrey Four, Kevin Knox, Joanne Reimer, James Jim Alexander, Rivka Bat Avraham, Kurt Engelhardt, Debbie Herman. And on this Shabbat, we remember and commemorate yard sites for Joe Dworkin, Leona Gordon, Selma E. Blum, Scott Boris, Nadine Burrows, Donald G. Olsner, Lottie Kahn, Claire A.P. Duffier Jr., Paul Labko, Louis Ray, Paul Rubin, Joe Townley, David Enger, Mildred Friedman, and William Lordier. If there are other names that you wish to contribute again online, I can encourage you to share them in the comments. And if you are present, please do so when my eyes meet yours.
Miriam Adler,
George Green. Larry Dix.
Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach thirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvzman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min rachmalam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Tamiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all who mourn, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. Michael, are you up for some announcements? Excellent.
You know, this was my bar mitzvah parsha. Rains of dead birds, I believe, is part of what we did not read. Thanks to Rabbi Benjamin for leading the service and chanting Torah. And thank you to Tommy for doing our live stream today. And thank you especially to Marilyn and Ken on the occasion of their 50th wedding. And what is that? Is that the diamond or is that something else? It was 50. Gold? I would have thought it would be the Tsuris anniversary. And for those of us here, please join us in the social hall for an oneg to celebrate. And if you're online, the Yisma Zoom, for those who are online, there's a virtual room for after the service as well. Coming events, tomorrow, as usual at 10 a.m., we have Torah study via Zoom. At the moment, we're on Exodus 23. And then at 8 p.m., we have Havdalah and Kaddish for Jerry Zober, Rabbi Ben's father. Is that taking place here?
No, that will be at our house.
At their home. So if you, how do the invitations work? How do people know where to go?
It was in the email.
Right. So it was in the bulletin email. So if you wish to come and help celebrate the life of Rabbi Ben's dad, the man who made him who he is today, for good or ill, 8 to 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Sunday morning, we have our Sprucing Up Sinai series where we take advantage of the summer to get some work done around the place. And it's a great time for, good camaraderie if you just want to come and hang out and get your hands a little dirty. And then looking forward to next week at Friday, 6 p.m., we have our second in our series of Shabbat Under the Stars, which we do every year. This month, it will be at Northgate Park in Northwest Reno, so quite close to here. Yeah. And it will be led by Toby Peckner. I didn't know him, but I hear he was quite the phenomenon.
He is terrific. Yeah.
So he used to be here quite regularly, and then he'd moved away. So having him back is a rare treat. And then we continue on with Torah study and the usual things for next weekend. I don't believe there is a lunch with the rabbis this Tuesday. At least it's not on the it's not on the calendar. But next week afterwards, there is a Tuesday lunch with the rabbis. Bring your own lunch and come and hang out with the rabbis if you have anything to bend their ear on. Also, it's worth noting Friday, July 5th, the office will be closed. Everything else looks to be in the standard order of things. So I won't bore you with week upon week details. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for greeting and for the announcements. Our closing number this evening is Yedid Nefesh, which can be found on page 332.
Yadadai dai 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 dai. Yedi nefesh avarachaman mishok avdecha el retzonecha yarut avdecha kemo aya yishtachave el muhadrecha Ya'er avlo yedidutecha menof etzuv v'chotam. Yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 dai, yadadai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 Adonai Ziv haolam nafshi cholat ahavtecha Ana elna rifana la birola noam zivcha atid chazek v'tid rape v'haytala simchat olam Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, vatikehemu. Narachamecha v'chusahana al ben ahuvecha ki zeh kama nisof nisafti liroti feret uzecha ana eli chemda libi Chusana ve'anati talam. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Higalenos uvros havivi alai et sukat shelomecha tahir eretz mikvotecha nahagila Nisma becha maherahu kiva moed vechonenu keme olam. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai. Shabbat shalom, everyone.